first? Sure. Yeah, let's do the map. Okay, let me switch over to this. Um, okay, and then I'll just switch over to just talking. Okay. All right. So my goal here. I'll move this over so I can look at it better. Uh, let's see. Interact. Okay. So let me kind of just go a brief overview of. So this is the Smithville Lake. This is typically where I'm fishing at. If I'm out fishing, it's fairly easy for me to access from where I live. It's probably the closest like big lake, um, without me having to drive like 3+ hours to get down to the Ozarks. Uh, what I normally go here for, I'm usually always fishing for crappie, uh, decent sized panfish. I'll take catfish I'm usually not like up there fishing specifically for them because it's usually a more late evening sort of thing. But catfish, and I've been like sniffing around for a walleye lately as well. And it's mostly because I keep catching them while I'm out fishing for crappie, and I'm just like, you know what? Why don't I like actually start trying to catch these guys? So typically I come in and either I put in from like right on here. There's a park access here, or sorry, it's not actually lake access. It is a walking trail that goes up along this side, but it has real easy access to this bank here. And I typically I'll just drop my kayak in and go either over in here, up and around, and I'll hit some of these spaces so you can zoom in a little bit closer and see. I usually will hit this spot. This map doesn't show all of them. There are more hardwood spots. Hardwood. My brain's a little fried from all that fishing. Uh, there is some more hardwood beds and such, brush in down along this way as well. So I don't know if it's universal, if all apps, all state apps do this, but the fishing state app for my state also will lets you essentially bring up your GPS on your phone, and then it'll show you like where you're at on the lake and where some of these points are, and it has a bit more detailed map of where some of these spots are. But there's some here, there's some over in here, and this this part of the map is a little off because there is actually a wall here. I might bring it up on the other map. There's a wall here, like a tide break. No, not tide break. A wave break here of rock outcropping that they've put to, I assume, just to kind of stop a boat wake for this, because this is all campground up here. And a lot of times during the summer, I would come out here and hit these spots, and they're all right for crappie. I've had recently better luck up closer to the bridge. This up here is also real easy to get to because there's technically a park here that you can just drop off onto as well, or park on the side of the bridge. And there is a ton of these spots here all along the side of this and underneath the bridge. So you can basically just bank fish from either side of the bridge here, either side of the bridge here. On the kayak, I can get up underneath the bridge or underneath the overpass, and there is all kinds of. I don't think that there is brush piles under each one, but there's a bunch in this entire area here. But it seems like spring, the crappie are up here in the shallower ends of the lake, and they've kind of just been migrating downwards as it's gotten warmer. So I've had more luck up here, some luck up here as well, because the downside about this is that this is always crowded. Any weekend, any evening during the summer, there are people like all over the place parked here fishing on these banks. So the downside is that you get if you get to fish in here, anything you catch, there's a lot of just fish that are not big enough to keep at this point in the year. I guess maybe had I stuck around here more earlier in the spring, it would have been better. But anyway, there's all kinds of like I said, all kinds of beds, hardwood, structure and stuff through here, under here. And when all this stuff is real busy, I typically come out here and fish around in this a little bit. It's not great because most of the time it's still real sunny, middle of the day, slightly afternoonish, and I feel like the crappie are more likely to be in the shadier areas, but I've still had some success. It's just there's a lot more structure to get snagged on here too. So, but my goal is to find some other spots to come in at from to so all this structure here. There's a ton of spots all throughout this part of the lake, and let me switch over to the other map real quick. So, and this is, like I said, this is stuff that you could easily do. I assume it works for other lakes as well. You could just search up a topographical map of, if you are unfamiliar with a lake, which, I just recently have started fishing at Smithville. I grew up with fishing in Lake the Ozarks. I'm not, like, so familiar with it that I know all these spots by heart or anything, but in my head, I had locations that were like, oh, yeah, I know where we've put in bedding. My grandparents had put in bedding. Their friends had put in stuff, so we knew where there were structure at to fish around. With an unknown lake, it always helps to know, like, at least a plan of attack, someplace to start with. And just looking up topographical maps, like I said, the state app. So my state app, you not only does it work as your fishing license, it has the built-in maps for all kinds of lakes in the Missouri area at large. So you just click it on, you click at whatever map or whatever lake you're fishing, bam, you've got somewhat similar map to this. This map has depth charts, an idea of like the kind of slope line of where the water depth changes, which is also handy to have. but let me switch over to the other map real quick. So, like I said, I'm wanting to get into here, this middle section of the map here. And the other thing that is really handy to look up is, especially if you don't know how easy it is to access a lake, it's always very helpful to look up public access or lake access for any sort of lake that you're fishing at. Because let me swap over to this. So this is the. Let me close this one out real quick. This is the. Oops, nope, not the right thing. Interact with this, thank you. So this is the PDF file for the various like public access the facilities, the public facilities that the lake itself has to offer, and it shows you that where the boat ramps are, where the marina is. There's apparently a fishing dock. It says there's one over by the marina as well, but I don't know what they consider a fishing dock then, because that's actually just a big boat dock. There is. I can't move it this. It does say that there is a big a fishing dock right there. That's what that symbol is? Right? I'm correct. Yeah. This thing. I might check that out. I might have to check that out at some point just to see what it is that's going on down there. It is there. It's part of the Crows Creek. Maybe that's the Crows Creek Marina? Because this is the Camp Branch Marina here. I mean, I could get in the kayak and just go to it, I guess. Anyway, that's not what I'm like sitting around talking about. That's not the intention of this. Rather, so I can look at the public facilities map, and I kind of match it up to the other map. So I've got. Let's bring this back on top. So I want to. Oh right, I need to. Sorry, I need to interact with both these things, but I can't do it at the same time. So I'll zoom out a little bit. We are looking at. We want to be. So here's the cemetery. Let's get to the other map. Okay, so this is that part. Let me see. See if I can overlay this a little bit better. Did I zoom in too far? No. Okay. So it is not. It's not like. It isn't like. It isn't one-to-one overlined. What did I just? The mouse. Anyway. So. The Kelsey Short group camp. This part right here is that camping area that I was looking at a second ago. So I'm like hopping. Why is the mouse giving me trouble? Okay. Hold on. Let me re-interact with this. So the campground is this up here. This I'll use the map icon because I apparently can't record the cursor currently. So this area up here is that Camp Kelsey. What is your problem? Hold on. Let me switch this to the other slot. Maybe that slot's just going bad. Which also wouldn't surprise me. Okay. So this is the spot here. This right here is the bridge that is marked. Oops, sorry. Is marked right there underneath the camp. Wish I could interact with both of them at the same time. That would be great. It is right there into the Kelsey Short group camp. It's this line diagonal that goes across the water there. So up from that, right? Can I? I can't leave a mark or anything here. Bummer. So here, I'll just zoom in on it more. So right up the way from the group camp is that access area, that spot in the lake where all those, where all that cover is. So number 18 up here is that upper bridge. That is the access point to where I would kick in from to fish up underneath the overpass and up north there. So 18 would be there to get into that. But that's a hell of a kayak to go, to go all the way down here. 28, on the other hand, is a much closer trek. 4, I have not scoped out 4 to know like how far back this park, because this parking lot is, if this is just the parking spot here, I would have to be dragging my kayak like a mile hike down to the water. So 28, I'm pretty sure, is right next to the water because I've seen folks up this bank here from the road. So my goal in the future is to come in here. I'm kind of want to hit these spots for crappie, since it is. Oops, I'm moving the thing the wrong way. Hold on, dude. So I'm gonna swap this over. Interact again. Go away. So like I said, I want to get up in here, hit a bunch of these spots, especially as it starts to get warmer. The crappie are gonna go deeper, and none of this is like super deep. We're talking anywhere from, let's see, a lot of this is 13. This is like so 10, from like 10 to 20 feet. It looks like most of it. It gets down to like 20, 22 right in through here. But like how easy this is to access. So this right here is where that 28 is on the other map. So we would hit in from 28 here and just come right down out of this cove, and bam, you have all this hardwood, all this. Number 161 dam. Huh? Interesting. I haven't been on this portion of the lake. I've only been down here and up here. And like I said, I'm on kayak, so it's not like it's like super easy for me to go cruising around. I can't just go in here and go like, okay, cool, I'll come down here. It's like that's like an hour or two of paddling or more, depending on how the wind is going. But yeah, so one of my brainstorms is to come in here and try this area out, because it seems like it would be less fished than the bridge up here. I'm like I said, I'm not having any luck in around here. I haven't had much in here except for like in late evenings. I've caught a few in here, but like I'm not gonna wait till 7 or 8 for the fish to start biting just to hang around here. I could come across here and hit a bunch of this stuff, which is either another option as well. And I might check this out as summer hits when we start getting in the middle of summer, because my goal, I know that this will get um, uh, be a better spot for the walleye, because all this deeper water will become much more crucial for a lot of those fish. Once it starts getting hot, they will all start going deeper. So I know that they will, because I've caught them there in the summer. I, they will start sliding into this deeper portion of the lake. But I would like to come up here and hit some of this stuff. And there was another spot that I was looking at, but I think the downside here. Let's see, where is it at? Oh, I did want to get in there deeper. So there is a boat ramp here, although you do have to pay like $4, I think, to park, even if you don't have the boat. Uh, and there is a bunch of spots right in through here. My only concern though is that like it is easy access, so people who have a boat are probably already, if they're like, oh hey, I know there's a bunch of these spots in here. There's all kinds of cover up this, you know, west side of the lake. We can just drop our boat in and fish all these spots. I might suspect that a lot of these places are already fairly well fished so far this year, so they might not be as productive. Though maybe that might be a decent spot to check during the week, because it'll be a lot less people popping in there during the week than there will be on the weekend in the summer. That's my other possible spot. There was another one that I was looking at up here. So there is this Stony Point school. There is. Let's swap over the other map real quick. There is another. There is another. Let's go up. Oh, it is the second page or first. Yeah, it is the first page. So the. I want to say it's. I think it's right here. Let's see. I might be able to find the road stuff on the other. I think it is right here. It has. Let me look and see. Dun dun. Let's flop back over to the other one. Let's interact with the map. So this is Highway J, and on the other map, yeah, okay, so Highway J is there. On the other map, oops, I keep hitting the wrong button. I maybe if I had done this better. Okay, so this is Highway J here. Please stop trying to access map data that I'm not clicking on. Thank you. So that's J, and then right off J is here. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then, yeah, this is O here. So on the other map, we're looking at. Sorry, I'm trying to. Come on. Come on, thing. Okay, so yeah, so that is that spot because that's O highway on the one side, this is J on the other, and these access points 12 and 13 would put me in right in there as well. And that seems like it would be very unutilized, I guess. Maybe by locals, they might know a bit better than others, but that would be a location where somebody would have to put in at another boat ramp and then go all the way up there. So, it is another option, although I kind of feel like maybe that would have been a spot to try earlier on in the spring, because it might be that those fish that would have been up there, if we look at that map, if we look at this map, none of this is particularly deep water. I mean, it is 23 at its deepest right there, which isn't bad or anything, but like compared to down here, the deeper core of the lake where it is, you know, 30s plus down this through here. So the deeper water is where a lot of those fish are going to go as summer hits. So again, I think that might be a decent spot to check out next spring or in fall, maybe when it starts to cool back off again. But otherwise, I think I think I might try this out on some week during the middle of the week when everybody else is at work or whatnot. But I also will be trying out getting into this cove here and then heading down here. I think that'll be my next adventure up there. But yeah, I kind of felt like going over this map stuff real quick. Maybe we can check out some other maps sometime, see if there's other lakes that have a very similar setup. Maybe we can poke around and find some other locations to check out on other lakes. Maybe I'll poke around in the old Lake of the Ozarks sometime, because we might be able to get some family members and stuff to go down there at some point. So. But for now, the ads want to pop back up again, but I'm going to call it a night before that happens. So thanks for popping in and hanging out. Thanks for listening to me ramble about fishing maps for a little while. We will, I think, go right on over to. Oh no, did she quit? I was gonna raid on over to. Let me see. Let me see what's going on the raid radar. Okay, well. I guess maybe she retired for the night? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You know what? I will raid on over to. I want to raid over to Pocket Paris. She's always a fun time. She's very high energy. And always a fun person to listen to. she's playing. She's playing. She's playing repo with some of the dino tubers. So I think I will just raid on over there and call it a night. Have a good one, everybody.